The Weekly Warp Pipe.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Weekly Warp Pipe, a podcast dedicated to retro video games, 80s and 90s toys, and all things nostalgia. We are part of the Dorkening Podcast Network, and we're brought to you by Deadly Grounds Coffee. This week, we're jumping in the Warp Pipe, and we're going back to the 90s, baby, checking out sitcoms. So many great sitcoms we watched in the 90s on TGI Friday, maybe, or during the week as well. So we're going to dive into our top 10. I know me and Jay are probably going to have some similar ones, and we asked you guys as well which ones you watched. And we want to hear from you guys. We actually set up a phone number, and you can call us and leave a message or text us if you wish to do so. That number is 949-682-WARP. I'll leave it in the description, and it's all over our website, which you could just go to theweeklywarpipe.com and check that out. We got new episodes every Saturday and shorter episodes every Wednesday for Warp Pipe Wednesday. Before we get into the episode, though, here's a word from our sponsor.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds Coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
Never
fails. I'm always dancing.
That should be my alarm to get up in the morning. I'll get all pumped to go to out of bed.
This morning, I screamed at my children different songs to wake them up. I was singing "Miss Murder" by AFI.
Oh, okay.
A couple songs by Stray Light Run and some other random stuff.
I thought maybe you sing some Evanescence or something. Wake me up inside.
Well, yeah. Well, the one that I screamed from Stray Light Run says when the sun came up, we were sleeping in, sunk inside our blankets, and strewn across the bed.
There you go.
So there you go.
Welcome back to the Weekly Warp Pipe, everyone. I added some stuff if you haven't catch some episodes, but we do have a Instagram page and a Facebook page, both dedicated to the Weekly Warp Pipe. I thought it'd be a little bit easier to keep it all there, so when we ask questions or polls, you guys could respond there rather than me doing on my Facebook page and all that. And then I set up a phone number too. If you guys heard in the beginning, you could call us now, leave a message. You could just say, "Hey, enjoy the podcast. Keep up the good work." Or you can respond
or say Jay is very attractive, and we appreciate looking at him on YouTube. I mean, whatever you want.
Yeah, anything you want. Be sure to say your name too if you want to, so we know who's calling, or stay anonymous, I guess. I don't know, whatever.
Or make up a funny name.
That's true.
See more butts here.
So we're jumping in the Warp Pipe. We're talking about 90s sitcoms. So many great TV shows I watched, coming home after school, or maybe it's Friday and you're watching some TGIF. We put together a list of some of our favorites. And I'll say start it off right up with the bat.
Go ahead.
In 1994, aired on NBC, Friends.
I'll be there for you.
So the theme song alone, took off for that band. They must have been so happy.
Iconic.
Right. I was like, they probably got so much royalties in that. Super catchy. Fun fact, if you guys know the opening to Friends and you see the waterfall feature and all that, that was actually first featured in the movie Hocus Pocus.
Ooh,
so if you guys go back and watch that in October, you'll see oh, hey, that's the fountain in Friends.
There you
go. But yeah, super iconic show. Group of friends living in New York City and just getting into some wacky things and love relationships and everything. Yeah.
I mean, who hasn't heard smelly cat, what are they feeding you?
I watched, there was a video where Taylor Swift brought her out on stage to sing that.
That's amazing.
I was like, wow, see, there you go. And they did just have, I think 2 years ago, they had a Friends reunion special where they brought everyone back on.
there's an episode that I get a kick out of because you may not know this about me, but I like to decorate my home nicely, I think. And so
I've been there. It looks nice.
I went through this phase where I really liked buying stuff from Pottery Barn.
Oh, okay.
And there's an episode where like Phoebe wants somehow Phoebe gets a hold of this like desk or something, or
Yes, yeah.
The apothecary. I can saying that word wrong.
Apothecary, yeah,
something like that. Anyway, and she finds out it's from like a big box store like that, and she's like so disgusted with the fact that it came from Pottery Barn.
right. Because I think Rachel was still trying to decorate her house, and then she kept getting stuff and making up stories of where she found it, and then they were walking by, and I think they saw the same desk or whatever in the window at Pottery Barn, and they're like, "What?" Yeah, so many classic episodes on that one for sure, and one of those shows where you can, hop on and watch whatever episode, and you'll know what's going on. For the most part, you don't have to watch like, oh, well, what happened in the last episode to know what's going on now.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I think another classic one's where they have to pee on. Was it Rachel because she got stung by a jellyfish, or was it Monica?
Yes,
so funny.
And then what about Joey coming into the room wearing all Chandler's clothes? Can I be wearing any more clothes?
Yeah, that's amazing.
So many good ones. What else you got on the list? We got a lot to get to. So.
We do. So I broke the rules a little bit. Russ just said it was 90s, but this was stuff I watched in the 90s. I put Married with Children.
Oh, yeah, I got that on my list.
Although apparently it was
87 through 97.
So it didn't start in the 90s, but it was still in the 90s. But man, I watched a lot of Married with Children, and there was a lot of funny jokes on there that might not be like politically correct today. I always got a kick out of Al, like trying to put like the shoes on like the fat women's feet, whatever. And he was just so rude. He was like the worst shoe salesman of all time. He's
absolutely.
Just brutally honest and just hated his life. And, I always got a kick out of him and Peg's like interactions. And, he had Darcy, the annoying neighbor. And
oh yeah. So many good ones.
Yeah. And who didn't love Christina Applegate? I mean,
right. It could be future episode, could be one of your first crushes.
It probably will make that list.
And then I sent you a clip the other day. What was it? I think Anthrax was on an episode of Married with Children, and they were just rocking out in the living room, and then they start like breaking stuff. And what's her name? Now I forgot her name. The neighbor,
Christina Applegate. Oh, Darcy.
Darcy, yeah, is over, and so she grabs some like ornaments or something, smashes them on the ground. Then she grabs like, it must be Al's like bowling trophy and smashes that, and they're just going to town.
Yeah.
So I thought that was neat. But yeah, super fun show. I watched that a ton. And like you said, a lot of this, I guess, jokes and stuff were definitely wouldn't fly today. They'd be canceled, they'd be canceled.
They'd be canceled so fast. Yeah. And I love their their typical 90s home, and I don't know. Everything about that show is just
it's funny. This could almost be another episode someone brought up. It's like, the house they're living in for what Al's working at, just at like a shoe store, he can afford like a huge house like that, like on the income. Like Peg, did Peg have a job? I don't think Peggy had a job at all.
She smoked a lot of cigarettes in the kitchen.
Right. So I'm like, geez.
I don't know. It looked like a split level house, maybe like it had like a little downstairs, a little upstairs. It didn't look that big.
Well, it almost be so like that, and then you backtrack to like what was Kevin McAllister's dad doing to afford a house like that?
Oh my gosh, he must have been selling drugs. That house was insane.
So funny. Let's see what else we got. So to tie that up with that, so Married with Children, a bunch of people watch. I don't know if you remember this one. My buddy Mike sent me on Instagram. He's like, "Hey, do you remember this one?" And it was called Unhappily Married.
Maybe.
It had, so their stick was like, there was like a stuffed rabbit.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Yes.
And they had the hot chick too. So I guess it's Nikki Cox was like their Christina Applegates of this show. But same premise almost as like, family with brother and sister, wife, but they had this stuffed rabbit in it. And the opening song was Hit the Road Jack.
Hit the road, Jack. Dude, that's crazy. That rabbit was funny. I gotta Google this.
And it's been a while since I have seen some episodes, but he like jogged my memory, and I was like, oh, I do remember this show.
I used to watch that. Who was the male actor?
Yes, I'll look it up quickly, but I remember him in a bunch of other movies and stuff. Unhappily Married show.
I love how I'm watching. Yeah, the redhead was like the daughter.
Yeah, that's Nikki Cox.
And I love how the rabbit looked like almost kind of strung out, like kind of weird and creepy looking. He had like crazy eyes.
It's like they must have gotten it from Alf or whatever, and they're like, all right, we could do a puppet on here.
Dude, your friend just brought back so many memories. I gotta search this out and watch some episodes now.
Yeah, I'm sure you can get on some streaming service, or they might even have it on like YouTube or whatever.
What a blast from the past. Is there any way you can show the rabbit real quick for those of you watching on
YouTube? Yeah, here, let me get
dude, I love this rabbit. He is so awesome looking. His eyes look kind of like hazy looking. He just looks like he was like a stoner rabbit.
Right, let's see, I have to look up rabbit on how many TV show rabbit. Oh yeah, okay, here we go.
He looks so cool.
Let me see. Let me share the screen. Present, share screen. This one, share it. Here's the rabbit.
Yeah, dude, look at him. He's so goofy looking. I love it.
And so they must have had a guy like under that couch, like puppeting him or whatever.
Yeah, because he was always like hanging in the corner.
Right, but you can see like
how long did this show run?
I'll have to see. Yeah, with the
couldn't have been too long. Seems like one of those shows that like might not have lasted very long.
Let's see if it comes up here on this.
Yeah, man, they did that. The girl was.
Oh, is it only 1 year?
95 to 99, it says.
Oh, no, yeah, right there, 95 to 99.
Wow, that's longer than I would have imagined.
So, yeah, maybe give that one a watch.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna delete one of these and change it for another one.
So switching our list up.
Yeah,
on the fly.
On the fly, absolutely. I just thought of one I love that I forgot about.
Perfect. So okay, so I went. Yeah, so it's your turn.
All right, so we're just gonna bust up with a new one that just popped in my head. News Radio.
Okay.
Did you ever watch News Radio?
I don't think so.
So it had Phil Hartman. It had Andy Dick. It had what's the guy from Kids in the Hall? I can't remember his name. Little redheaded dude. It had Joe Rogan. It was like his first big show.
David Foley.
It had David Foley. That's it. Yeah, and it had it had the woman. Do you guys remember on Liar Liar the wife? The wife from Liar Liar was on there too. But News Radio, man, Phil Hartman, he was so funny in that show.
You can see some clips there.
I used to watch this every night. I have a couple of seasons on DVD, but I just freaking love News Radio.
It's been I might have seen an episode here and there.
The boss was really funny too, Mr. James.
Okay.
I mean, the whole cast was incredible. Like, if you have not watched News Radio, you're doing yourself a disservice.
So check out that awesome 90s show.
Absolutely.
So my wife's been watching this. A few of these here, she's kind of been diving back and watching, maybe for the older crowds.
Frasier's amazing.
Yeah, so we've been watching that. It's just something she could put on and almost fall asleep to. 93 to 2004. It has run. I'm trying to describe what the show is about. Let's see.
Basically, it's like he's like a psychologist or psychiatrist, right?
Right, and his brother is a no. So Frasier's the news radio like personality, and his brother is a psychologist.
Isn't his name Niles? Niles Crane.
Yes. Yeah.
And then they live with their dad.
Right. In like a condo or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's see. Does it play any and then they have a nanny too.
Yeah.
So who's in this? Kelsey Grammer, David Hyde Pierce, Jane Leaves, the dog. I like how the dog is Moose in the show, but his actual name's Eddie.
That's
funny.
It's
like, why do you have to change the dog's name?
Yeah, just call him Eddie. No one's ever going to know that you've intended to call him Moose. But it takes place in Seattle, and I love how in the logo it shows the big Space Needle.
Oh, right.
Kind of cool.
Definitely. Yeah, Frasier's definitely one of those shows you're like, and which I didn't know. My wife told me it's a spin-off show from Cheers.
Yeah, because he was in Cheers.
Which I never watched Cheers, and they did an episode where they flew into somewhere and they had a lot of the people from Cheers. So I was like, oh, okay.
Well, here's a perfect segue. My next one was Cheers.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. I think I cut you off, Russ.
No, that's fine. I mean, not much to say about Frasier. Check it out. It's a funny show.
Yeah. So yeah, Cheers. It's about a bunch of guys and girls that go hang out at a bar after work every day. There was the mailman. I think his name was Norm. No, Norm was the other guy. Who was the mailman? I can't remember. Anyway, and there was Ted Danson, Christina Alley, Frasier was on there. But yeah, it was Rosa. What was her name? I can't remember. There was like
in the show.
There was a short little lady, and then Danny DeVito was in there too. I think, right? Or am I getting Taxi mixed in with there?
You might be getting. I don't see DeVito. Woody Harrelson was.
Woody Harrelson was in there. He was like the bartender. He was amazing. But yeah, the funny thing about me watching Cheers was it was clearly a very adult show. Like there was like relations going on between different people. There was a lot of talk about sex. Obviously, they're in a bar where they're drinking. Oh, what is her name? They had several cute girls on the show. But I just watched it because back then, like you didn't have like options like kids have today, like Netflix and all these streaming devices. You can watch whatever. That's the lady I was trying to think of her name with the dark hair, curly hair.
Let's see.
Rita Perlman. Isn't that her name?
Yes, right here.
The Rhea Perlman. Yeah, Rhea Perlman. That's it. Yeah, it just came on and I just watched it. And even as like a 9, 10, 11-year-old, 12-year-old, like I understood some of the comedy. Kids are smarter than you think.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't have been understanding it or watching it, but I was.
And like you said, a lot of the times, we didn't know what else was on and we couldn't just choose like, oh, I want to watch this cartoon or whatever. You had to just watch whatever was on the TV at that time. So
yeah, and that was kind of the thing. Like you would, as soon as you got home from school, there would be cartoons running, and then at about the 6 o'clock hour, you would start seeing shows like MASH, which I freaking hated. MASH, still hate MASH. MASH.
I never watched.
I'm sure some people like MASH, but I freaking hated it. But I would watch Cheers, So anyway, it's nice.
Good. There you go. Watch Cheers. In almost the same vein of that, Seinfeld is on my list.
Seinfeld is great. Yeah.
So many great characters. There's actually I've seen recently someone now with like, if you guys seen anything on like social media, AI is like the big thing like doing, and I think they have an AI bot that is constantly writing Seinfeld episodes, and it's like rudimentarily filmed like with weird figures or whatever, but it was like that's kind of interesting, like how good the show was. People want to continue it and keep it going.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Yeah. Do you have any favorite episodes?
Well, recently came out because we had gone game hunting, me and my wife, and like we were at like a antique store, and in the back someone had framed up was the license plate Ass Man.
Ass Man.
Kramer, you are the ass man.
That's so funny.
So I thought that was funny with the vanity plate. And
did you ever see the one with the Bubble Boy?
Maybe.
He was a bubble boy, George. It was like this guy in a bubble. I don't remember much about it, but I just remember it was funny. I remember about double dipping the chip. You remember that? Where like George double dipped the chip. Like, you can't double dip the chip.
I don't know. I didn't see that.
You dip it, you take a bite, and then you get another chip.
I remember the episode where George was dating this girl and he was at her mom's house and he went in the kitchen to get something and then he saw an eclair on the top of the trash, like just sitting on a paper, and he like reached in to get it, and then the mom came in and saw him eating it.
Oh no. What about the one where he was like, he had been like in the pool or like a cold shower, and I guess like his genitalia had like retracted some to like keep it, warmer, because that's what happens to male genitalia. And he was like, some girl saw it and he was like, it's shrinkage. He's like so embarrassed because he's like coming up short on the stick.
I do like that he somehow, like, I never seen any of their shows do this, where he incorporated his stand-up like towards the end or whatever, where he'll like, whatever is happening on with the show, he'll have like a bit that he's doing, and it's like at the comedy club.
I feel like that was pretty early on actually when that happened, like season 1 maybe.
I'd say I never seen like another show kind of do that, where it's like, here's the show, but also in real life, this is Jerry Seinfeld doing his skit or whatever.
Yeah.
So I thought that was, pretty fun and unique.
Yeah, Seinfeld's great. I'm going to go watch some as soon as we get off here.
And again, it's one of those, put on any episode and it's a fun watch.
Like, it's hilarious.
You don't have to know what happened 16 episodes before. You might miss some running jokes, but it'll still be a good time.
Oh, another classic episode is the soup Nazi. No soup for you.
Perfect.
Love it. I could go on forever. All right. Moving on. This was more of a family kind of wholehearted episode, like show. Came on TGIF, and the love of my life, Stephanie Tanner, was on it. Full House.
Nice.
I just loved. I loved that Joey was all about hockey. Uncle Jesse was like this good-looking rocker. Danny was like this squeaky clean freak, which is funny because in real life, Bob Saget had a very foul mouth, but he seemed so innocent and wholesome on Full House. There was DJ and like the three sisters, the Olsen twins got their start on there. Laura Loughlin was on there. Kimmy Gibbler, who can forget Kimmy? Kimmy's like the ageless wonder. Have you seen her in Fuller House?
Yes, yeah.
She looks the exact same. Was her real name's Andrea something, but Andrea is there, and there's the love of my life there, Stephanie Tanner. Jodie Sweetin, if you're out there, my wife might let us go on a date. More crushes, we'll have to save those. But yeah, anyway, Full House, loved it.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I watched plenty of Full House growing up. I loved the puppet that Danny had with the
Mr. Woodchuck. Is it made of wood?
So many good skits. Yeah,
I know, dude.
And I did a little video last year. Literally, last year, me and my wife went to California for a trip to visit her sister out there, and we swung by San Francisco to see the Golden Gate Bridge, and then I saw like the houses like in the opening.
Yeah.
And I was like, so good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It was amazing. Love that show. And Fuller House was a good reboot. Actually, really well done, and a lot of care and effort went into fan service.
Right. I think 2 seasons of that show. I think they might be on 3.
My kids got into that, so then I showed them the old episodes of Full House. They love that too. So
nice.
Yep.
Yeah. Good stuff. Let's see. We'll go another one here. This may be on your list. I'm sure it's on a bunch of other people's lists. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You got to bring that in if you're talking 90s sitcoms.
Somehow I forgot to put it on the list, but it should have totally been on there.
We got the theme song.
Yep.
We won't sing it, but you guys know it.
You all know it.
Will Smith on there, DJ Jazzy Jeff. We got Carlton doing the Carlton dance. Carl wins.
Go Carlton.
Yeah, and then it's basically him it's Will Smith's character gets being in this uppity upper class, I guess, scenario because his
Like in
uncles,
California,
right?
Yeah.
And his uncles and are very well off, and then he's kind of from the hood, I guess.
He's from West Philadelphia, born and raised
raised.
in the playground where he spent most of his days.
And yeah, just that 90s like culture hits in there, like the fashion, what he's wearing, and then obviously music wise, even the jokes like over the top. I remember watching one episode recently, and who was it? Beverly was like doing she had like a talk show, and she was sick, so Will went to give her like medicine, and by accident he gave her like drowsy medicine, so she was like passed out, and some big wig was coming to see the show, so he like put her off to the side and then dressed up in like almost like made himself like a gay hairdresser person or whatever.
Oh wow.
And he's like putting on this whole bit so she doesn't get in trouble.
That's hilarious.
It's always hilarious. Like Will doing this like over the top like stuff to like get out of whatever scenario he's in.
And Aunt Viv was played by two different characters. Did you ever notice that?
Oh really?
Yeah, she started out as a different. I don't know the name of the actress that played her initially, or the one
she
that
was
played
recast
her formerly. But she was recast like after like a season or two. It didn't last very long.
Oh, okay.
So kind of interesting if you ever watch it and you kind of notice, a different person.
Hey,
Weird.
Wait a minute.
But I always loved his his clothes. I always thought he dressed really cool. He just Will Smith was just a cool guy in the 90s before he started slapping people.
Hey, when Chris Rock says something about your wife, you got to defend her honor.
It's a friggin' joke.
Nice. What else you got, Jay? 90s
All right.
TV shows.
All right. This is another one that I thought was really good. This one came on like middle of the week, maybe like on a Thursday. My brother really liked it.
Okay.
Tim Allen and Home Improvement.
Yeah. I don't think so, Tim.
I don't think so, Tim. Had the three brothers, Jonathan, what's his real name? Jonathan Taylor Thomas was in there. He got real popular, did the voice of the Lion King. The mom was really funny. Even Al always wearing his plaid. And then the neighbor Wilson peeking over the fence,
Right. The whole street was like, you could never see his
full face. It was always like this.
Always.
If we did that as a podcast, it'd be like me like this. What are you doing, Russ?
We actually. Oh wait, what am I? I'm bringing up. Why is Full House playing here?
But he worked on like a show called Tool Time. It was like a cable access show, and he's always building stuff. And it was funny because like Tim usually was like ruining everything, and Al was like the one that actually knew how to build stuff.
Right, he was the Bob Vila.
Yeah,
and Tim was more the showboat guy, where he was like running the show and doing the overtop stuff. And he would always set Al up with like these jokes where they built this like soundproof room, and he went into the room and was like showing like screaming and shutting the door, and like nothing would come out. Yeah. And then he stepped out and Al went in there, and you could clearly hear him, and he's like what, mouthing like, I can't hear you. So then he starts talking bad about him.
Yeah. And one of the weird parts of that show was as the boys got older, the youngest son like kind of turned to grunge.
Okay.
And was like wearing like Jinko baggy pants and like black shirts, and he was kind of like goth skater kind of kid.
Yeah, we got Mark Taylor.
Yeah, that was him.
Randy and Brad are the three sons there.
Yep, Zachary, Ty, Brian. Patricia Richardson was the mom. She was awesome.
Yeah, we actually this was on streaming on, I forget what platform, but I think it's on Hulu.
Sweet.
So if you guys wanted to check it out. I take a drink of my tea there. Before we get into some more, let's hear from other podcasts on the network you think you guys should be checking out.
Do you like gaming?
This game would be better if it was a battle royale.
Do you like technology?
I bet this tech would work better if it was a battle royale. Do you like movies, TV shows? and everything else that me and Nate can't agree on?
The Last Jedi was easily the best Star Wars film I have ever seen.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Everybody in this room is stupid now because of you.
Talking Gaming and Tech is a bi-weekly podcast where we cover the latest, greatest in gaming and tech. Now part of the Dorkening Podcast Network. Talking Gaming and Tech is a podcast produced by Tech Prime Media. You can find us on YouTube and all other social media platforms. You can find Talking Gaming and Tech on Apple Podcasts or wherever else you get your podcasts from.
This podcast is filmed live.
If you want to check us out while we're filming live, remember to follow links on social media and your comment might be read on air.
And we're back. We asked you guys, what 90s sitcoms you guys watched. Let's see, on our Facebook group, what do we got? Eric Plunk said, shout out to Spin City. As a huge Michael J. Fox fan, it was bittersweet to see him in what would be his last role outside of a few guest roles.
Yeah, I loved Spin City. Spin City was great.
And then we got Matthew Durkin. Family Matters might be my favorite, but Married with Children, Home Improvement, Saved by the Bell, Dinosaurs, and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air were all awesome.
Totally agree.
Agreed on that. Let's see. And then now we have our YouTube page. If you guys are listening on Spotify, you guys can head over to our YouTube page if you want to participate in some of these polls. Let's see, share screen. I can show you guys this one here. Weekly Warp Pipe. M&J Games. I used to love watching Clarissa Explains It All and Salute Your Shorts on Nickelodeon. When I was young, that era of Nickelodeon had the best shows.
Yeah, dude. Salute Your Shorts was awesome. Donkey Lips.
Yes, and a great theme song, too. Shaud said 90 sitcoms I watched the past few years were Home Improvement, Grace Under Fire, and Boy Meets World. I'll have to brainstorm some honorable mentions from when I was a kid. Oh, let's see. Did reply?
I watched Grace Under Fire. I remember watching that.
I can't remember that one.
It was like this middle-aged white woman with like curly hair. She might have been a country music singer in real life.
Okay. Maybe my mom watched that one.
Had some kids, kind of lower middle class,
Let's see. He said, I love Al. Fun fact, Wilson's first and last name is Wilson.
That's true. Wilson.
I also really enjoyed how the intro song animation changes throughout the seasons.
Yeah.
Oh, how it was like that paper mache thing and all that.
Yeah.
Hey, just thought of a cool podcast topic. Secret songs on CDs from the 90s.
Oh, heck yeah.
So, hey, if you guys got suggestions, let us know. Let's see. We got a few more. Stevie's Man Cave Arcade said, like, everybody loves Raymond, Fresh Prince, Boy Meets World, just to name a few. As I've gotten older, I'm really enjoying rewatching Frasier.
Yeah, dude. Frasier's good.
Richard said, I was young, but after the bus ride home from school, I would heat up some bagel bites and Doritos and turn on the old antenna TV and watch King of Queens, Home Improvement, Everybody Loves Raymond, Seinfeld, and According to Jim.
Yeah.
Brian says, Fresh Prince was a must watch, but Nickelodeon had good shows like You Can't Do That on Television, Hey Dude, or Salute Your Shorts. Those are my favorite shows, if you would consider them sitcoms.
The girl on Hey Dude was really cute. She actually ended up marrying Ben Stiller. I wish I knew her name, but I always thought she was really hot.
Oh, nice. Could add it to our crush episode.
Yes.
Mike is a pipe bomb.
Mike.
Fresh Prince, The Cosby Show.
Ooh, the Cosbys.
Roseanne, definitely classic. Dinosaurs, Martin, Parenthood, The Wayans Brothers. So much offered via Antenna Prime TV.
I used to watch Martin all the time. Dang,
Yeah.
Gina.
And then Calvin says Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Certainly classic for sure. Yeah, you guys definitely hit the money right there with all the 90s sitcoms.
You hit the nail on the head.
I think that's what I was trying to say. I guess hit the money works too.
Yeah.
You could hit that like button and subscribe if you're not already.
Good transition.
And if you guys want to give us a call, again, we got a phone number. You could call us at 949-682-WARP. Leave a message, or you could text us. Let us know how we're doing, or respond to whatever topic we are talking about.
Please.
Got a few more on here. Some of them people already mentioned, but
yeah,
we'll still
same.
discuss them.
What you got, Russ?
I did have Roseanne on
Me
my
too.
list.
Me too.
I definitely watched that with like my mom, because a lot of times, we would have dinner and then, sit in the living room, and then it's kind of whatever she was putting on. So
Right.
Roseanne definitely came in a bunch.
Isn't that funny that like sometimes you just watch what your parents watched because
It's
like
like,
that was
okay.
it?
Right.
That's so weird. That doesn't happen as much anymore.
But yeah, I remember watching it a lot. No episodes really stand out to me, like I remember, but I remember enjoying the show.
Remember, the only thing I really remember is I remember DJ got a Super Nintendo one time, or was at least playing it. I thought that was kind of rad.
Pretty neat. Yeah, when you see video games in the shows, you're like, oh, I used to have that.
Yep.
Mentioned that, and then Dinosaurs was also on my list.
Yeah, Dinosaurs was on my list too. I mean, how can you forget big plastic moving characters and not the mama,
Not the mama.
Yeah, the freaking baby.
That's on, I think it's on Disney Plus. Possibly. I know it's on a streaming service because me and my wife probably watched about maybe 8 episodes.
What do you think of it now? All these years later.
I thought it held up pretty good. Like the costumes they are in are fairly good. And they got Robbie is the son, and he has like his Letterman jacket and mohawk hair. So he's like, the attitude teenager, and they have their daughter.
Yeah.
And some of the issues.
She reminds me of Meg on Family
Yeah,
Guy.
I can see that.
Kind of hate her.
Could the baby be Stewie?
Yeah.
What was another they brought up? Shout out to Nintendo's podcast, Retro with Octopus, did a full episode on science shows.
Okay.
So they did like Bill Nye the Science Guy, and they did Mr. Wizard's World, and the other one was Beakman's World.
Oh, I remember Beakman's World.
And they talked about so Mr. Wizard was, I think, started in the 70s, but in Dinosaurs, they had a show within the show called Mr. Lizard.
Oh,
and he was like the scientist guy.
Oh, I remember that guy.
And he would do experiments, but whatever experiment happened, the dinosaur kid that was helping him would die.
Oh, Lord.
And he'd be like, we need another Stevie or whatever his name was.
That's funny. One thing I'll say is there is a controversy about the final episode of Dinosaurs. People remember it being one way, and they're seeing it another way in videos replayed, and it's like the Mandela effect. Because basically, I think the way people remember it is the dinosaurs find out there's an asteroid coming to hit the Earth.
Okay.
And they just kind of sit in their house and wait for it. But it was kind of a pretty dark episode. I can't remember the whole story about it, but do some research. You'll figure it out. Right.
Because it's like, how far can they go with it? Because we know dinosaurs don't stick around. So something happens. So they got to do the ice age or get hit with an asteroid, I guess, inevitably.
I will say the last time I watched it, because I tried to watch it a couple years ago, I did not think it held up. I thought it was rather boring.
Not the last episode, but the series
just
itself.
The series itself. And it could have been just the episode I watched, but I found myself not paying much attention, which could just be my TikTok brain as a 41-year-old man.
Could be. I got 2 more on my list. What else do you have, Jay?
Did we mention Step by Step?
No. Nope.
With Cody and I can't remember the rest of the characters. Cody was always the one getting the brain freeze. You know what I mean?
Let me bring it up here.
So there's like a Tom girl sister who plays sports. There's like a typical stereotypical older brother who's like cool. I think his name's JT. There's a dad, and I think they're a blended family. Like 2 of the kids. There's a nerdy little kid. And like 2 of the kids are the moms, 2 of the kids are the dads, and there's like a cousin. And I always thought this intro was weird because it shows like this humongous roller coaster.
Yeah.
And it's like sitting on the shore of a beach. And you can see this where they put the 2 together. There's like this kind of movement. But I always thought like there's no way that's possible because as soon as it got high tide, like this roller coaster would sink. It was literally, it was inches from the ocean. So anyway, that's what I remember about it.
That's your little rant.
Rant over.
I'm sure I've seen a few episodes of this here, looking at the cast, kind of remembering. Okay, but step by step,
Day by day.
day by day. What else hit my list? We mentioned, Roseanne, Dinosaurs, Salute Your Shorts. I did put on there.
Yeah. Famous song, Camp on Awana, we hold you in our heart.
And when we think about you, it makes me
want to fart.
I think I enjoyed it because of the camp aspect of it. I have always wanted to go to camp, for the summer. I thought that would be fun, and I never had that. I don't know if they didn't have like camps like that near me or whatever, but I always found that to be fun. And I enjoyed camping. I just never got to go that much. So, a show about camp at a campsite or whatever, I was kind of like, oh, okay, this seems cool.
I always liked how the counselor had all the zinc on his nose all the time.
Oh, right.
To keep from getting burnt. And the redheaded guy, he was like the cool kid, I don't remember his name right now, but yeah, great show.
Yeah. So, and again, all those like Friday night, like Nickelodeon, Nick at Night shows, definitely good.
Yeah. Did you have Family Matters on your list with Urkel?
Oh, nope, I didn't. I didn't put that one on there.
Yeah, you gotta remember Urkel,
Got any cheese?
Ain't got any cheese. Hi, Carl. Hello. No sweat, my pet. Anyway, he was just a walking, what's the word? Quote, I guess. But the episode that I remember most is when he became cool and he became Stefan. And
That's
then all
right.
of a sudden Laura wanted to like go out with him because he was so cool.
Yeah, he made like some device like he went into and there's like steam and all this, and then he came out and he was basically the real life counterpart of the actor who played
like J. Lee White, right?
Right.
You know what? A fun fact about J. Lee White, he voiced Sonic the Hedgehog in the cartoon.
Yes, and I was like, when I hear Sonic, like I'm like, that's my Sonic, like the one that's voiced by Urkel.
Yep.
And then the other fun fact is Carl Winslow voiced Shredder in the Ninja Turtles cartoon.
Yes, he did. Man, those guys are killing it. I only have one left, Russ. And this was not a show that came out in the 80s or the 90s, but it was aired reruns. I watched a lot of Andy Griffith in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Black and white color. I just thought the life lessons still held up all those years later. Barney was still funny. It was just still relative. But I just couldn't leave this list off without mentioning Andy Griffith because I still think it's great to this day, all these years later.
1960 to 1968.
It was just a well-written show. It's funny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I've seen definitely episodes of this. Whether my mom was watching it and I happened to be in the living room again checking it out. But good until the 90s and further.
There you go. That's it.
Last one on my list, I think we talked about at some point. Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Are You Afraid of the Dark? Love that show.
Again, another almost like kids based spooky show. Creepiest intro ever with clowns and swings.
Yeah.
Swings.
The swings were weird. They always creep me out like an empty playground.
Playground, and then like the
unsettling.
rocking chair moving, seeing the tricycle.
Yeah.
These group of kids meet in the woods, Midnight Society, and they tell a story every week. So you get different spooky stories. And I definitely enjoyed it. Again, that came on was TGI Friday. So you'd probably watch like, Family Matters, Snick. Was it Snick?
Because it's Snick or it's not.
The big orange couch.
That's right. Did you have a favorite episode of that?
Of Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah.
It's might be there's one where the kid gets trapped in the mall.
Okay.
Because there's like a pinball machine or something in there that he plays, and then he gets trapped inside the pinball machine at the mall. That one was cool. And then I did like one of the earlier episodes where these boys get lost in the woods, stumble upon a cabin, and then there's a ghost cab driver.
Oh,
And
nice.
They have to solve a riddle in order to like get out of the ghost ride, because every night he crashes the cab into a wall, and like that's where he died, and then he repeats it, and they're now in the cab with him.
Yeah, the episode I really liked was these new neighbors move into this town, and they're weird. They're always up at night. You never see them in the day. They're real pale. They're from Transylvania, and they think they're vampires, and it turns out like the son is a vampire. I always loved that episode.
Turns out he was.
Turns out they're right, and he killed everyone.
Nice. Yeah, certainly a classic one. So many 90s sitcoms that are good to watch. And like you said, a lot of them they almost tried to redo with like Fuller House.
Yeah, reboots.
They did Girl Meets World. I don't know if we mentioned Boy Meets World either. Anyone brought that up? Oh, someone did, I think, on the YouTube.
Yeah, I watched Boy Meets World with Topanga.
Pretty awesome. Yeah. So 90s sitcoms. Hopefully we mentioned some that you guys remember watching. Maybe you'll check out some streaming services and kind of relive these here. Or, maybe go grab the DVDs. Get the box set.
Get them.
Can't be too expensive.
I know, right?
Check out the weekly warpipe.com, and you can catch new episodes every Wednesday and Saturday at 7 a.m. Full episodes on Saturday, and we have Warpipe Wednesday every Wednesday with shorter episodes. You can catch me at Russ Lyman on all my social medias. We have a Instagram and a Facebook page for the Weekly Warpipe, so guys, please follow that. Just search the Weekly Warpipe and give us a follow on there. That'd be appreciated. If you want to follow Jay,
check me out on TikTok. Help me get to 50K. That'd be rad. You can watch my older episodes of YouTube videos, NES Addict, and every Saturday and Wednesday with my buddy Russ Lyman right here at 7 a.m.
Woo! All right, guys, we will catch you next episode.